Proverbs 8, verse 13. Verse 13. The fear of the Lord is hatred of evil. Fear of the Lord is hatred of evil. When I hear the word hate, one word comes to my mind first, and actually it's not evil. It's beets. Beets comes to mind when I hear the word hate, because I hate beets, man. All my life I've hated beets. I was traumatized by beets as a kid because my mom would give me the vegetables and I'd have to sit in the chair until it was time to go to bed because I just would not eat my beets. And then right behind that was green beans. Although I've kind of grown out of that. I like green beans now, but I hated beets. Thing about hate is when you really hate stuff, you do stuff to mitigate its impact in your life. You really hate it. Okay? I also hated onions. When we started going to McDonald's when they first came out, isn't that funny to say? I only wanted ketchup on my hamburgers, did not want onions or mustard. And then my dad would pick us up some hamburgers, french fries, and open it up. And sure enough, there was onions on there. Every time I said, Dad, I don't want onions on my hamburger. Pick them off. Just pick them off. So I would just flick those little bad boys off of there. Bing, 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 bing. And then I remember one day, I don't know, I was 5th, 6th, 7th grade or whatever, and I decided I was going to have a Big Mac. Just went to McDonald's and I just decided I was going to have a Big Mac, and Big Mac had onions on it. So that was the test. And I ate that Big Mac and I liked it. It was kind of a rite of passage for me. I felt like I just became a little bit of a man this day because I ate those onions. Never happened with beets. Never happened with beets. Green beans took a little longer. I hated green beans so much, I would look for places to hide them. I would try to hide them under my plate, accidentally drop them on the floor, and yes, the obvious place, I did actually stick them up my nose. I did. I have to admit that. Actually, it was so bad, it wasn't just green beans, because I have a traumatic memory one time of getting a crayon stuck in my nose. If this was a movie scene, you would see the flashes and the crying and the slow motion and the lights. This traumatized little boy, and then the needle nose pliers. And my dad with his tongue hanging out like Michael Jordan, digging in deep, going for the gold. And then finally saving my life and getting that crayon out of its resting place. What'd you do that for, son? You put a crayon up your nose. I don't know, Dad. I have no idea what that. It just went up there. I don't know. Frankly, in hindsight, I think I was just trying to test the storage capacity for green beans. But I hated them. And here's the thing about hate. If we really hate stuff, we do stuff to avoid it. We do things to avoid things we hate. I was trying to hide those vegetables. I didn't want to eat it. And sometimes we just, I don't know, like to associate with the feeling of hating something. Like sports teams. I hate this team. I hate that team. I hate the Packers. I'd hear all the time, I hate the Packers. I wore my Green Bay hat around Chicago for years. And people would come up to me and say, man, you got a lot of nerve wearing that around here. I say, well, it is what it is. And then 3 minutes later, they're saying, yeah, the Bears really suck. Blah, blah, blah. I've been all over the country in the U.S., and pretty much every place I go in a random spot, somebody's going to say, hey, like your hat. Give you a thumbs up. It's awesome. I was in Japan, and a guy in one of the stores gave me a thumbs up on my hat. Said, nice hat. I guess he might have been from the States or whatever. I was in Israel, going through one of the sites, and we were going into a little museum-like area. We're going to see a presentation. As I'm walking in, the attendant at that place looked at me very respectably and said, "Sir, you're going to have to remove your hat before you go in there." And I said, "Oh, absolutely, sure," because we had to do that sometimes going into sacred places. And he said, "Well, I just want you to know it has nothing to do with the place here. It's just the fact that it's a Green Bay hat." And I said, "Dude, disrespecting the G right here. I can't believe that." He's calling me out on my hat. And then on the plane home from my trip to Israel, the flight attendant looked at me and said, "Would you like some water?" I said, "Yes, please." And she started handing me and said, "Oh, got to take off the hat first." And I said, "What? On the plane too? I can't believe it." That's kind of fun. We go back and forth on that. But really, the thing about hate is just like love. It's a word that reflects emotion, but also the context gives you the degree of that emotion. I love Beets. Now, that is in quotes because I would never say that statement, but I know there are people who do love that in this group. There's probably some of you out there who are genetically somehow altered to where you like Beets. Okay, that's good. I'm okay with that. Things we love and things we hate, we use those words, but they have such a wide variety, such a wide range of application and significance. You love your children, love your parents, love America, you love your country, you love freedom, you love apple pie, you love sleeping in on the weekend. You see how that goes. You love your wife, love your husband, you love God. But those words are not, and that word itself does not reflect the degree in the English language. Some of that nuance is applied in the original languages, but we don't get that in the English language. So the fear of the Lord is hatred of evil. I think requires some observation in the sense that when you hate something, like I said, you do stuff to avoid it. You don't want it. The question is, to what degree do we do that with evil? Because I think there's a comparison to be made, an equivalence, if you will, from the word is in that statement. Excuse me. The fear of the Lord is hatred of evil. Or you could say equal. If you fear the Lord, you hate evil. And so you could say, if you hate evil, you fear the Lord. See how that works? So you could also say the degree to which, since they're equal, the degree to which you fear the Lord is the degree to which you hate evil. And the degree to which you hate evil is also equal to the degree to which you fear the Lord. I think those are valid equivalencies to make. The degree to which you hate evil is a reflection of the degree to which you fear the Lord. I think I'm going to stop there.